All right, thanks for staying with us. It's time for newspaper review.
All right, we have Chukwudi Okoli Ugbaja with us this morning. Good to see you, Chukwudi. Good morning.
You know, I call you the waspish
I
journalist.
think you should stop.
Incisive.
I'm not.
She digs in. How are you doing? You've got a smile the size of the Atlantic. I'm happy for you. Your dreams actually turned
I
out.
like that.
Hello, Victor. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, I'm all
You're
right.
aspiring monarch.
You look younger
I
this
always
morning.
do. Don't let me
Where,
blush
where
in
you
the
shave clean?
morning. Good to see you too.
All right, so let's see what the papers have this morning. Let's begin with the People's Daily. The People's Daily leads with suspected bandits kill 3 people in Niger State. That's the lead story there. Above that, we have Dangote Refinery now supplying bulk of domestic jet fuel, according to report. And NECO warns against registration of candidates by proxy. Away from that, in the black strip below the picture story, we have PDP replies Ganduje says boast of capturing Ondo State, reckless, empty. Below that, respite as CGN flags off construction of judges' quarters at Katangwe. That's on page 22, if you want to see that. We have other stories here. The headlines actually on the front page of the People's Daily. NEC announces date for public hearing over grade collapse. Taj Bank sets industry record, pays second dividend in 4 years. Develop or face revocation, demolition. FCTA wants Abuja abandoned property owners. All right, so that's coming from the FCT. Let's see what this Nigeria has this morning. This Nigeria leads with great collapse. Sad story of greed and grief. Fantastic caption. Great collapse. Sad story of greed and grief. Details on pages 4 and 5. The writers to that story says system failed 99 times under Buhari, 8 times in the current administration. Senate told in 2015, Nigeria spent 2.7 trillion naira between 1999 and 2015 for electricity. NEC fixed 6 October 24 for public hearing. All right, away from the great collapse. IPOB sit at home, cripples activities in Southeast. That's on page 18 if you want to see that. And beside the picture story, we have PDP tackles Ganduje over capture of Ondo in Kubapol. APC's West governors rally support for Ayedatiwa. Details on pages 21 and 22 right there. And we have judgment of FHC Abuja affirming Damagun as acting national chairman of PDP. Is also right here in this Nigeria. Finally, Tinubu approves owner-occupier housing scheme for judges in FCT, says WK Housing. Others guarantee independence of judiciary. Details on page 6. Victor.
All right, I have the Daily Trust here, and at least with this story, we have recovered consignment of drugs from Senator Ashiru's house, NDLEA, and it has 3 riders. 8 arrested, 1 jailed. Allegations not true, lawmaker. An issue must be properly investigated. CSOs. That story is on page 4. And below the nameplate, Dangote withdraws 100 billion naira suit against NNPCL. Others over import licenses. Page 6. Bandits kill travelers, abduct others in Zamfara. Page 7. And this picture story details Beirut, Lebanon. People inspect the site of an Israeli airstrike that targeted a branch of the Al-Qad Al-Hassan Finance Group in Al-Shia. The organization is used by Hezbollah to finance its activities. And we're under the black strip just below that story. Push for Damagun's tenure extension intensifies, page 13. And why we arrested Bobrisky, that's according to immigration. Page 5, flood submerges 25 communities in Edo. Page 7, and finally, DHQ counters army, says no acting chief of army staff. Page 33. Chukode.
Yeah, Victor, thank you very much. I hardly do the foreign scene, but let me quickly say that the end game concerning the Palestinian issue is a homeland for Palestinians. So however Israel is going about all this, that question would ultimately be answered. Let the world work towards it. Great collapse. And I like the way you pronounced great. That's a short A. Great collapse. Then they now played on pronunciation. The story of greed and grief. A and E. Now the question is this. Has it become candlestick? Is it a burning candle that you can easily come, send some air towards and it gets extinguished? What really is at the bottom of the inefficiency we seem to see in our power sector? And how do we go about it? Is it administrative lapses? Is it undercapitalization? Is it that technical know-how needs to be beefed up? What is it? And why is it taking so long to discover what the problem is? I need to add, though, that Cuba, which has been one of the most efficient countries in terms of power, supply, has had 4 collapses within the past 3 days or so. So it's not as if it's only, something you find in Nigeria. But that's not to say that when you have a sore, to console yourself, you look for a more festering sore on someone else's leg. That's not how to go about life.
And I'm happy you've said that.
Yeah, it's very important. When we get the power right, you get so many other things right. I know a man in the hinterland where I live, who lives on a, sale of frozen water. It is going to be his period of prosperity again when the dry season comes.
That's ice.
What ice? Ice block. If you have steady power, you're going to cut down on the money he spends on diesel, powering a generator to keep his trade going.
Indeed.
That's the point of it. NDLE and Senator Oyedola Sheru doing back and forth there. Femi Babafemi represented Marwa at a media briefing yesterday and actually said that part of the reason all this is happening is that the agency actually raided the home of the senator way back and arrested 3 of his aides, eventually jailed 1. The senator says it's all lies. It's not true. Whatever it is, we're talking about an elite agency we have, put in place to help us fight a big menace in terms of productivity of people. When you drug a society, you kill the society piecemeal. And we're talking also about a senator of the Republic of Nigeria. These are issues we should not put in the public place and all that. We have to play straight concerning whatever has happened and get it settled out. Because when they ask you, if gold rusts, what would iron do? Certain things are not supposed to be said in public. They're unheard of. I mean, the next thing journalists should have done is, did you really arrest 3 of his aides and you jailed 1? And an investigation in that direction begins. You begin to find out whether the senator had a hand in the so-called discovery of drugs in his premises way back. But I can tell you, Victor, after the quarrel in public, nothing will happen after that. That's one of the reasons Africa still stays in the doldrums. You understand?
The answer will start coming in when you find out if this happened long before now. Why is it just cropping up now?
Well, it's all part of it. It's all part of it.
Why is it now an issue?
Yes. It's still all part of why Africa grapples with development, doesn't seem to hold it
If you know why,
firmly.
then you get there. So.
Yeah, that's a point. The Defense Headquarters is warning again that it is treasonable for anyone to ask for change of a government. When I hear things like that, I just laugh. Military rule is never a solution to any society's problems. Whatever your sentiments are. And go and look at those who may be carrying out the rumor and all that. These are people who feel shortchanged in the current system. So, what was it they were gaining that they are not gaining now that makes them call for these things? Treat it with a pinch of salt when you hear people say that. I think Africa should settle to the benefits of democracy and really work towards getting that concept and practice, working for the continent. I think so.
Indeed.
All right. Many thanks, Chukudi. I'd like to know what you think about the sit-at-home in the southeast. Reports shows that there was a total lockdown yesterday in 5 states of the southeast, following the declaration of members of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, led by Nnamdi Kanu. Now, the activities focus mainly across the southeast zone and has since the last 2 weeks been urging residents of the 5 states not to come out between Monday and Tuesday, which was yesterday and today. So
I want to think that there are certain things I don't mention here because Nigerians are very sensitive. But it does matter to consider that if you're looking for people who are making great progress materially in this country, it is the Southeast. Give it to them. Google up the richest tribe in Africa and Nigeria. Let's stop there. So the question now you ask is, who gets hurt when this sit-at-home continues on and on? Is it really Nigeria as such? Yes, of course, the Southeast services this country in many ways. But I want to think that the immediate victim of what is happening now is the Southeast. So the Southeast has to sit down and resolve its issues so that progress will continue in their ranks.
well said.
Not sure why that issue has continued to linger, and it's not for lack of effort. Efforts have been made, but somehow it just lingers.
Again, because Nigerians are very sensitive, there are things you don't discuss in public in Nigeria so much. But let me again, because I'm a journalist, say that the African society thrives on the fact that elders are respected. That's what keeps Africa going. I don't know how much it is helping Africa grow technologically and all that. In the Southeast, there's a question mark on that. And when you have a society where it becomes an equim situation, that is me and agree, it is always a problem. Southeast people, wonderful human beings on earth, they keep the wheels of progress going. Chetima went to commission the Aba electricity wonder and said, call them the Jews of Africa, and said, without you, Nigeria will not move technologically. He was not, speaking to please them. He was saying the truth. How much are you trying on your own to keep life going on in your quarters? Simple.
All right, let's talk a little bit about elections now. Ondo is preparing to go to the polls next month. I just want to know what your take is about the kind of comments some leaders of political parties make, before elections. Do you think that, something needs to be done in that regard? Like, words like, would capture, would take down, would take it by force, all those kinds of words, Some say, well, it has a way of affecting how the polls go, affecting how the electorate come out to vote. It affects voter apathy and all of that. Do you think statements made before elections need to be,
I would have readily jumped to, it's one of the reasons the continent does not grow. But just yesterday, Elon Musk said, I'll give $1 million a day till election day to whoever votes for Donald Trump. So-called God's own country. Is that not inducement? So if they could say it over there, certain things can still happen on the so-called dark continent.
It will take a man like Elon Musk to
say it.
And then people are now interrogating
but
that it could amount to breaking the law.
But to answer her question directly, the point is this. I've always said there are certain things that regulation, that is the law, can handle. There are also many things that social etiquette can handle. You have to find out where we run to catch me if you can and show total disregard to social etiquette. Two things you need to teach in a company more than anything else: social etiquette and emotional intelligence. And if you can drive those things in, you're going to find out that the company will grow. Africa has to go back to how to talk. We were not like this.
Well, I think it's
We
something
can
we'll
now
have to.
almost mock a cripple on the roadside the way we are going. That's not who we were. It's not just about politics.
And it's not who we should be.
Yes.
But permit me at this point to thank you.
Those in our village and
I just
train
want
me
to.
now.
I just want to thank you, if
Thank
you
you
permit
so
me.
much. Thank you.
Thank you very,
out.
thank
We
you
know
very
where you're
much
going.
for this morning.
Director, he has given you the cue.
Let's see you again tomorrow. Good Morning Nigeria continues after this time, and please stay with us.